Well, this might surprise Joe Sagula, but the first time I met him was long before I was a volleyball guy. It's been almost 20 years, Joe, but the North Carolina coach has been there a really long time. He told me last summer, he said, "Hey, we have one of the toughest non-conference schedules going." And Joe, you were right. But now that you've gotten into ACC play, things seem to be back on track.
Yeah, we've gotten back on track. It has been a tough ride early in the season, a little more difficult than I had hoped. I was hoping that we could get a couple more victories early in the season, but we were tested in many ways, both on the court, off the court, and just keeping our resilience together and just our focus. And it challenged us. A lot of questions being asked by coaches and players back and forth, but we had a couple of good wins along the way that kind of created some belief, which was really important to us. And then ultimately now we're in ACC play, and I think it's paid off. And I think we've hit a stride. We've created a lineup that we like, and hopefully it'll allow us to go further, a lot further throughout the ACC season.
Yeah, well, you're the best 8-7 team in America, I think. I mean, losses to USC, Michigan State, BYU, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, and then victories over Stanford and Michigan. I mean, what were you thinking, Joe? That's crazy. Of course,
Well,
four in a row in the ACC, and one of the reasons why we're talking is because your team's hot, and Friday night you and Florida State, you're the two benchmarks for the Atlantic Coast Conference.
yeah, it's going to be a tough battle. We've watched some video. We know that Florida State has had a tough match this past Friday against Duke. They get to come up to North Carolina, play two matches, go home, and come back, turn around and come back up here. For us, we know this is a really important match, and we've got to be at our best. We feel poised to do that. We feel like the team's coming together. We've learned a lot more about our pin hitters, which has really been a question mark early in the year, and they've really, really made the change for us. Our middles have been very consistent and just getting better. And so I think everybody's feeling good about their game, and it's come at the right time, because to play at this point in the season, you need to play confident, you need to play well in order to make a run in October and to set things up for November.
Yeah, and one of the things that I assume works in your favor at this point is that you've got really experienced players at key positions. You mentioned the middles, but Paige Neuenfeld and Victoria McPherson, both senior middles. The setters, Jordan Schnabel, she's a senior, right? And
Yes.
Abigail Curry's a junior. Lee Andrews, a senior outside hitter. So you got people who've been through it who probably, that's one of the reasons why you probably were able to ride out the storm so well early on.
Yeah, we had eight players who played out on last year's team, which was one of the best teams we've ever had, 29-3.
Yeah,
so with that kind of
too, defending ACC champions.
And defending ACC champions, so they knew what it was like. They knew how to get there. So that's one of the reasons why we created this schedule, which has also allowed us now, I think, to settle in. With all those veterans, though, there still were, Lee, I'll tell you, a lot of questions, a lot of doubt going throughout everybody's minds. But I'm glad everyone's settled. It took a lot of communication, a lot of effort on both the coaches and the players to just settle in and just feel comfortable and just really just get back to work, get to do the things that we do well. And once we started doing that, started forgetting about the rankings, forgetting about the teams we're playing, and just focus on one thing at a time, things started coming together. And I think that's all you can do. It's all you can ask your team. And I think it's been the difference right now. And us being patient, us also being demanding, and the team working really hard.
Were there some challenging coaching moments? I don't know, motivational things that you just had to pull out, and things that you maybe hadn't done in previous years or in quite a while that relate to team building and a women's sports team?
Yeah, it was a lot of meetings with our leadership group. We have a group that meets every week, 5 players on our team, talking with them, finding different ways to motivate them in practice, whether it being the tough guy, being the nice guy, and everything in between. And we went through everything during that 3 or 4 weeks period where we were 3-6 at the end of preseason. 3-6, never thought that would happen. So we kept searching. But to the credit of the team, a lot of talks, hard talks with our upperclassmen, as you've indicated, the juniors and seniors, I thought was really important. And to let them know where things were and how we really counted on them to set the table for us. And that their effort, their resilience is really what's turned things around. And most importantly, their play. I mean, you get better when you start playing better. And the veterans really upped their game to the level that we thought they were capable of playing.
get you out of here on this. Of course, we talked about you playing Florida State, and you guys are both hot and both playing extremely well. But the league, especially the last couple of weeks, it looks like a few really good teams are emerging. Miami's getting better and better. Duke's good. Syracuse is a surprise.
Yeah.
Just a quick recap of the ACC, if you would.
Yeah, all the teams you just mentioned, obviously Syracuse had a great win this past weekend. Duke's always going to be competitive, went 5 with Florida State. Miami's improving. But the other team, we all know Florida State's going to be good. They run a 6-2 offense, a lot similar to us. They have great middles. They have a really good, strong and Walsh on the outside. But the other team you haven't mentioned yet is Louisville. Louisville's undefeated, and they are a scrappy team.
Joe, it's always great to catch up. We'll talk again before the end of the season.
Great. Thank you, Lee. Have a great day. Appreciate your following us.